Hi everyone, this is Dr. Tania Hashik. Today's topic of discussion is joint and their movement. We all know that in our body there are different kinds of joint and all these joints have different function and they are classified structurally, functionally, etc. So now we will discuss each of these joint and their classification in detail. So before classifying joints, we have to know what a joint is. So a joint is also called an articulation. A joint is the place where adjacent bones or bone and a cartilage come together to form a connection. So a joint is a place where adjacent bone or a bone and a cartilage come together to form a connection. So joints have been classified into two types, that is based on structure and based on function. So structurally means how these two bones articulate to each other, what helps in the articulation of these two bones. And functionally means if these bones are, that is if these joints are mobile or not, or is it slightly mobile, etc. So based on structure, the joints have been classified into three types. That is how the articulating surface of the two adjacent bones are connected. So the first one is a fibrous joint. In fibrous joint, the adjacent articular surface of the bones are connected by means of a fibrous connective tissue. And the second one is the cartilaginous joint, in which the adjacent bones are articulated by means of a cartilage. It can be hyaline or fibrous cartilage. And the third one is the synovial joint. That is, in synovial joint, the adjacent bones are articulated within a fluid-filled space called as the joint cavity, and such joints are called as synovial joints. So based on structure, the joints have been classified into three types, that is fibrous joint, cartilaginous joint, and the synovial joint. So based on function, the joints have been classified. That is based on the mobility of the joints. These have been classified into three types, that is synarthrosis, amphiarthrosis, and diarthrosis. Synarthrosis means immobile joint. That is synarthrosis joints are immobile joints, and amphiarthrosis the joints are slightly movable, and diarthrosis means they are freely movable joints. So based on function, it has been classified into synarthrosis, amphiarthrosis, and diarthrosis. So we have already classified joints structurally as fibrous joint, cartilaginous joint, and synovial joint. Now we will discuss about functional classification of these three joints. So the first one is the fibrous joint. So fibrous joint is functionally classified as synarthrosis or amphiarthrosis. That is, fibrous joints are either synarthrosis means they are immobile, or amphiarthrosis means they are slightly mobile. So the next joint is the cartilaginous joint, and the cartilaginous joint are functionally classified as the synarthrosis or amphiarthrosis. That is, they are immobile or slightly movable. So the cartilaginous joint is functionally classified as synarthrosis, that is immobile, or amphiarthrosis, that is slightly movable. And the third one is the synovial joint, and the synovial joint is functionally classified as diarthrosis. That means they are freely movable joint. So now we will discuss about the functional classification of joints. They are synarthrosis, amphiarthrosis, and diarthrosis. So the first one is synarthrosis. It is an immobile joint, and due to its immobile nature, it results in strong articulating union between articulating bones. That is, it results in strong articulation. And the function of synarthrosis joint is protection of internal organs. An example for such joints are sutures of skull, Mann-Bruce sternal joint, etc. That is, the suture of skull is a synarthrosis joint, and structurally it is fibrous joint, and it helps in the protection of brain. And another example is manubriosternal joint, and it is a cartilaginous joint structurally, and it helps unite manubrium and the body of sternum, and it helps in the protection of heart. So the synarthrosis is immobile joint. Due to its immobility, it results in strong articulation and helps in the protection of internal organs. So the next one is the amphiarthrosis. It only allows limited mobility, and these joints also unite bones very much strongly, but it allows limited movement. An example for amphiarthrosis is the cartilaginous joint that unites vertebrae, and the gap between these joint is filled by a fibrocartilage, and it is also called as intervertebral disc. So the next one is amphiarthrosis. It allows only limited mobility. This joint is also very much strong, but it allows limited mobility. An example for amphiarthrosis is cartilaginous joint that unite vertebra, and the gap between these bones are filled by fibrocartilage, also called as intervertebral disc. So the next one is diarthrosis. It is a freely mobile joint. Example for diarthrosis is all the synovial joints are diarthrosis. That is most of the joints in the appendicular skeletal system. It provides limb with wide range of movement. That is diarthrosis is a freely mobile joint. An example for diarthrosis is most of the joints in appendicular skeletal system, and it also provides limb with wide range of movement. So we have already discussed that diarthrosis joints allow wide range of movement. So again, these diarthrosis joints are divided into three types based on number of axes of motion provided by this joint. So what is an axis? In anatomy, axis means the three anatomical planes. They are transverse plane, frontal plane, and sagittal plane. We have already discussed that transverse plane divides body into upper and lower half. Frontal plane divides body into anterior and posterior half, and sagittal plane divides body into left and right half. So the based on number of axes of motion, the diarthrosis joint is again divided into uniaxial joint, biaxial, and multiaxial joint. So the first one is uniaxial joint. It only allows movement in a single plane. An example for uniaxial joint is elbow joint. That is elbow bending and straightening. That is straightening of elbow and bending of elbow. And the second one is biaxial joint. It helps in movement in two planes. An example for biaxial joint is metacarpophalangeal joint, and it is also called as knuckle joint. And the two movements are bending and straightening of fingers and spreading of fingers away and bringing them together. So the two movements of the biaxial joints are bending and straightening of fingers and spreading of fingers away and bringing them together. So biaxial joint allows movement in two planes. Example is metacarpophalangeal joint, also called as knuckle joint. So the last classification of the diarthrosis joint is a multiaxial joint. It is also called as polyaxial or triaxial joint. That is, multiaxial joint is also called as polyaxial or triaxial joint, and it helps movement along all the three axes. An example for multiaxial joint is shoulder joint and hip joint, and it allows movement in anterior and posterior direction, medial, lateral, and rotation of limb towards and away from midline. For all this, you can use anatomical terminologies, as we have not discussed about the anatomical terminologies related to movement. We will discuss about it in another section. So the last classification of diarthrosis joint is multiaxial joint. It allows movement in all the three axes. An example is shoulder and hip joint, and the three movements are anterior and posterior movement, medial and lateral movement, and the rotation of limbs towards the midline and away from the midline.